Hey everyone, this is Marshall Latimore, the editor-in-chief for the Atlanta Voice. We're joined today by Dr. Lisa Herron, the superintendent of Atlanta Public Schools. How's it going today, Ms. Herron?
Hey, I am well. Grateful to be here. Grateful to have opportunity to do the interview with you, and certainly just honored to be able to lead during some very challenging times in public education.
Awesome, awesome. So tell us a little bit about your role and what the superintendent of schools does for Atlanta Public Schools.
Sure. So July 1st, 2020, I was sworn in as the superintendent for Atlanta Public Schools. As you may know, this is for me my second superintendency. Very honored to have been chosen by the board and to have the full vote of confidence around being able to leverage this work. Could not have planned that we would be doing it during a global pandemic. Anyway, that being said, for me, the day-to-day work of a superintendent and what I've inherited is tied to making the most appropriate research-based, evidence-based decisions tied to instruction, teaching and learning, tied to the operations of a school system, so that schools, the management of schools, and then all of the resources and cultural transitions that are tied to making certain that we're successful. So whether that's data tied to how our students are performing academically, whether it's fiscal resources that we contribute towards our buildings and schools and construction or reconstruction or renovation. Obviously, within the school system, there's the full component of athletics or student support services, counseling, psychological services, special needs and special categories. And then the other component of that, from a superintendent seat, is to also interface and galvanize first and foremost with the board. I have 9 board members, and then with the community partners and stakeholders. And our stakeholders vary across the city of Atlanta, from nonprofit to faith-based to corporate. And I recognize that in Atlanta, the navigation of that is at a very high level, but it generates significant impact. So that consumes a good bit of any and everything that I find myself managing on a day-to-day basis.
So tell us what's unique about the Atlanta Public Schools. I know it's one of the largest in the state. Are navigating a pretty robust system of support in terms of its community partners. But tell us a little bit about what makes Atlanta Public Schools unique.
Well, I think there's several unique characteristics. The first is how we are demographically positioned in Atlanta. I'm taken and reminded daily, even as I come into the office, that we are right across the street from the Atlanta City Hall. We are just a few blocks down from the Capitol and the State Department of Education. And so we exist in the capital city. That's a unique factor. Literally, we are, as City of Atlanta and Atlanta Public Schools, we all share the birthspace of being organizations that live in the capital city. Now, when you take that map and cast it out across the demographic, we are also unique in our socioeconomic demographics. Our average household income has a very unique range and disparity, from the low end of 23 or 24,000, I believe, to the high end of an average household income of 167,000. So there's a great deal of financial disparity or inequities. And similarly, we are vast and rich in our cultural diversity and social diversity. So those are some, I think, captivating characteristics. The other is our cohort of schools and our portfolio of choices. So we are a charter district. We also have within our district a portfolio of schools that are traditional, that are specialty schools, that are charter schools as well. And with all 92 and counting, I think that creates a unique opportunity for choice and options for the families and the households that we serve.
Awesome, awesome. Now, this year's school semester is gonna open on tentatively August 24th, and you guys or the board made the decision with your input to begin the year digital uh, only. So, can you share with us a little bit about that decision and why you all felt it was the best choice for APS students?
Certainly. So, all of us experience the disruption of our delivery model for instruction. And when I say all of us, the world, right? Not just the city of Atlanta. I was sitting in another city and state, but colleagues across the country and the globe. By the end of March into April, all of us were sheltering in place, and we were trying to navigate an environment that we've not lived in before. That being said, we guided our decision making, particularly as I transitioned over the latter part of the summer up until now, based on several guiding factors. And one of the most critical has been the public health data. And the science of that data has been clear. We are in high spread, what we call substantial spread. Substantial spread meaning that we should not only be sheltering in place, but our practices should be tied to, I like to use the term intentional and extreme social distancing, the wearing our masks at all times, and how we clean and sanitize ourselves and our environment. Based on the guiding documents that we receive from public health officials, from individuals in the health field, doctors, physicians, medical university leaders, epidemiologists, infectious disease specialists. And when I say those names, I don't just randomly lift them. I have had conversations with all of them and had them as we were trying to make the most responsible decision. Given that we were in substantial spread, the most ideal scenario, I believed and understood from the data and from the recommendation, was a virtual learning environment so that we could protect the health and wellness of the children that we serve and the staff who serves them. That's how we landed on virtual. And when we announced that July 13th, we've been pretty consistent in that position since. And this is literally a day short of a month later, and we still maintain that. Now, the opportunities will exist to consider a hybrid or face-to-face, but not without first considering what level of community spread exists. So that's how we got there.
Exactly. Now, we've seen reports in the last couple weeks about how spread has occurred in Paulding County and Cherokee County. Is that exactly the sort of spread you guys wanted to make sure that you avoided within your schools?
Unfortunately, that's an easy answer. Yes. Yes. That's what we were seeking and hoping and desiring to avoid. And I respect whatever leadership style and decision any individual like myself executes to make a very heavy and complex decision. Our goal was to not be in a space where that would be our reality, and it was grounded in, we are still in the city of Atlanta, we are at substantial spread.
Awesome. So what accommodations is the system making? Because you pointed out the disparities in socioeconomic status. What sort of resources are you all making available to families who may need a little bit more assistance as they try to navigate, a technology-based education?
Mm-hmm. So first and foremost, we're making devices available because we know that does not necessarily exist in all households. And in Atlanta public schools, for any child or household that needs a device, we have one available for them. We've been taking inventory and surveying the community, and we have a sense of those numbers. Right now, that's somewhere between 9,000 to 10,000. We have the capacity to cover for that. In addition, we've made hotspots available for any individual student that needs it as well. And from the families that we've received responses from, a good bit have household Wi-Fi, but there's still a good percentage, almost close to 20%, that don't. And so we are prepared to make those devices available. We have modified and provided a schedule and a platform for instructional engagement. And we've been doing a series of town halls to help inform families and parents around what that will look like. even in special categories, whether they are ESOL, families who do not primarily speak English, or for early learners, the 4 and 5 year olds and 6 year olds. We've done that for many of our specialty schools or programs, IB, dual language immersion. Again, OPS is unique in that we offer many opportunities for learning, but how does that look virtually? And then finally, we're making meal provisions. So we started this week with our meal delivery model, where we provide 5 breakfast and 5 lunch meals every Monday. And we distribute that out to families this week and this upcoming week. We've done it across the city if you're needing it in specific locations. There are 12. But starting August 24th, we'll continue that model. 10 meals, 5 breakfast, 5 lunch meals per child. Families just have to go online and order their meals a week in advance. So we've tried to cover a lot in that space, and we've even given some examples of what a schedule looks like, a mock schedule, a model schedule, so parents can understand that virtual learning doesn't mean you wake up at 10 a.m. and log on at 12. You will have missed some instruction, right?
Right.
It's still timed. But we're also sensitive to knowing that in doing that, there's got to be a break, because just like you and I are connected, you can't do that for 3 hours straight.
Right. Right. So I also saw that you all launched a special site today.
Yes.
It looks like it's very easy to navigate. Tell us what was the impetus behind launching that special site for reopening.
Well, here's the thing, parents have asked many questions throughout this process. And one of the things I've asked the team to be thoughtful about is the ability to have maybe even a one-stop shop or one place link where they can get all of the information. So I'm excited that I heard you say it was easy to navigate. It's inviting, and wherever you want to know information, it's just a click away. And that was simply the thought behind it. We realize that now more than ever, engagement is exceptionally critical, and we wanted to be able to make that an access point for parents.
Awesome. So, I know adjusting to this new role is a challenge, especially walking into this role in the middle of a pandemic. But you were obviously chosen ahead of the pandemic, and because there was a specific vision that you wanted to put in place here. And so, can you speak to that vision, and how has that vision sort of changed or been enhanced by the current set of circumstances?
Yeah, so, during our interview process, for me and the board, and I'm certain for all the other individuals they were considering, one of the things I appreciated about our board is their clarity around where APS currently sits after, having a history of opportunity, of challenge, et cetera. So the incoming superintendent would have this opportunity to vision cast and to lead. I understood that needed to be grounded in several things. So number one is not just in the spirit of excellence around the performance, academic performance of our students, but all of our students and all of our schools, regardless of whether they're on the north side or the south side. And so part of the way we also do that effectively is through looking at things and challenges and strategies so as to not simplify it to the term things, but looking at opportunities through the lens of equity. And so that was something that I also understood had to be a part of the vision. And even turning around schools. So we have several high performing schools in APS, but that's not how we've identified all of them. And so how do we also move forward in doing that? And that's deeply embedded in the 5-year strategic plan. Now, that's all been a part of the vision casting. And then what culture would this superintendent create? Not only the learning culture, but how would we as an organization interface with each other and lead and help change our city? So that was important. Then this pandemic happens. And now all of that's still important.
Right, right.
It is wrapped into this space that's tied to health and wellness and living. And when I say living, I mean not dying, because COVID is real. So if I had to say that something changed, it's been my perspective on how do we navigate now in a world that is virtual, to do all of the things I mentioned earlier, but also stay healthy and well. And whether you were a sitting superintendent or a new one, that's what's in the forefront of our thoughts. And it is certainly in the forefront of mine. My hope is that the pandemic will only last but for so long and we will find ourselves out of it. But August 24th, we start day one virtually. And
Right.
we've got to also then prepare to launch that successfully. Yeah.
Right. So for many people, they will not have had a chance to sort of attend an open house with you, or speak more directly with you in a public forum, uh, if given the circumstances. What is it that you'd like for the public to know about Lisa Herring, the new superintendent of schools for APS?
Um, I would want them to know that as an experienced leader, I am passionate about children. I am passionate about children and doing what is right for them, regardless of the circumstance, whether that circumstance is grounded in poverty or privilege. In the field of public education, I believe I am called, we are called to do right by them in that space of teaching and learning, and also developing and cultivating a journey of success so that their future is wide open for whatever they feel called to do. I want them to know that. As an experienced educator and leader, I would want them to know that I am committed to thinking about how to build the right culture in our organization to empower the individuals, the adults who serve them, so that we can do it well and in a spirit of excellence, but also thinking with a service mindset, because I'm also a servant leader. And then I value and celebrate innovation and creativity and the space in which all of us can play a part in that together. And then at the end of the day, I am this Georgia girl from Macon, Georgia, who has had the good fortune to serve in several cities of the South, many of them that are critically tied to what is a journey on civil rights and social justice. And I am honored to have had a journey that's been in some unique places, one of which you and I just mentioned, prior to. And but then to come back and be in the state that helped build me. So I feel very obligated to help continue to build it. That's what I want them to know.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank you for joining us here today. I think that we learned a lot about uh, the district's plan for reopening, and we're sure there'll be more questions, and I'm sure there'll be many more opportunities for us to chat and continue to learn about your vision for APS.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you and Atlanta Voice for giving me a platform to have a conversation. I look forward to a continued relationship and partnership in that. So thank you.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Harry.
All right. Thank you.